Hey everyone, this is our lesson on protists. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to classify different types of protists. But before we get started, you may want to review the vocab terms that are at the top of the notes page. You may want to fill those in using your previous notes before you get started. So let's jump straight into it. Protists are single-celled organisms. They are eukaryotic, so they do have a nucleus, even though they are single-celled. And our first one that we look at is an amoeba. So an amoeba live in ponds or dead and decaying organisms. They are heterotrophs, which means they eat other things. And they also move using what are called pseudopods, which are false feet. So you can see that in the GIF here, where like their arms basically are reaching out and pulling them in a specific direction. That's called a pseudopod. They do reproduce through asexual reproduction, and they remove waste using a contractile vacuole. Their special feature that they consider a feature for amoebas are that they are shapeshifters. So as you can tell here, they do not have a solidified shape. Their plasma membrane is very fluid, so it can change its shape very easily. Next, we have what are called the paramecium. And paramecium live in ponds that are freshwater. They are heterotrophs as well. And they will move using cilia, and those are the little tiny hairs. So as you see this, they are moving around. That's why it looks kind of staticky around the outside. All of that movement are cilia. They reproduce through asexual reproduction, and they remove waste by a contractile vacuole. And their special feature is that they actually have two nuclei. So I think they usually call these like a macronucleus and a micronucleus, which is why they have two. And these are the most complex of the protists. So I don't know why I didn't say this earlier. It should have. They're all single cells, and they're all eukaryotic. So it did say that. So just make sure you do know these all fall under the fact that they have a nucleus and they do have membrane-bound organelles. So none of these are prokaryotes. And now we have the euglena, and these also live in freshwater ponds. These actually can be both auto and heterotroph. They move using a flagella, which, as you can tell, is this little tail at the end of the body of the euglena, and that just kind of helps propel them in a certain direction. They reproduce using asexual reproduction. They remove waste as well using a contractile vacuole. And their special feature is that they are auto and heterotroph. And then the last one that we have here is a volvox. And these live in ponds and freshwater as well. They are autotrophs. They move using two flagella, and you can't really see them in this picture because of just the way that it's moving. But they have asexual and sexual reproduction, so they can do both here. They don't just reproduce off their own cells. They can sexually reproduce with other volvox. And then they do not need to remove their waste. Their special feature is they live in colonies, so you can see two of them are here. A lot of times when you see these like on a petri dish or anything like that, they are, well, a giant colony. If it's in a petri dish, you have to really use a microscope, but you see that there are clusters of these. And they actually do what they call dance. So this one that is circling around is called a dancing volvox.